Pokemon Legends Arceus is probably one of my favorite games, like, ever, even though it only came out this year. I also like watching Pokemon challenges, like people doing challenges in Pokemon, not the streamer. The only challenges I've ever attempted were Nuzlocke, even though I've never actually finished one, so I figured it was a perfect time to try something different. So I decided to play through Legends Arceus using only baby Pokemon. Why baby Pokemon, you may ask? Well, it's because most of them suck. Legends Arceus isn't like traditional Pokemon games. It focuses mostly on catching and exploration, but it does have trainer battles, and some of them can actually be rather difficult. Or I'm just bad, but whatever. Specifically, there's one battle I was curious to see if I could beat with only baby Pokemon, so here we are. I also thought of the title for the video at the same time and thought it was funny. That's also a big reason why I did it. So here is my attempt at beating Pokemon Legends Arceus. We start out by picking the female character because she just looks better than the male character, and we drop into Hisui, though it's not through our own free will, and meet Professor Laventon. After talking to him, we go to catch Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet. After this, we go to the village, meet everyone important, and we go to sleep. This is also the first time I've noticed that the grin around Benny's face is his beard. I always thought it was like a chin strap for his hat. While we sleep, God unleashes his fury and strikes down into a certain Pokemon. We then go to headquarters and get assigned our first mission from Silene. We then choose our starter Pokemon. Now, if you've played this game before, you probably know that we just have to use our starter for the beginning of the game, and there isn't any way around this, so just pretend that the challenge hasn't started yet. We pick Rowlet because he's my favorite, and it doesn't even matter anyway. On our way out, we're greeted by Volo, who totally doesn't get off weird vibes from the get-go. After defeating him with our rented Rowlet, we head into the Obsidian Field lands and catch a Bidoof, Starly, and Shinx. We then show Silene our work, and we are awarded with being allowed to live. We are then gifted with a new outfit, and we go and try to tackle Commander Komodo. After failing at that, button mashing through more required dialogue, and learning how to look cool from Ray, we can finally start playing the game. Now's the time where we can go over some of the rules for this challenge. Rule number 1, we can only use baby Pokemon. Duh. This goes for not just battling, but also for completing tasks. I originally only wanted to use the research points you get from the baby Pokemon's Pokedex pages, but it just wasn't possible. Later in the game, we literally cannot progress further into the story unless we catch other Pokemon to complete tasks and gain more research stars. So we unfortunately have to catch other Pokemon, but we never use them for battle or for any other reason, and release them after catching them for the research points. Now, what qualifies for a baby Pokemon? For the purpose of this challenge, I used this list on Bulbapedia. There are 19 baby Pokemon in total, but only 13 available in this game. Side note, I totally forgot that Chingling was a baby Pokemon and never caught one to use. It doesn't really make a difference, but I just wanted you all to know that I'm dumb. Lots of these baby Pokemon spawn in different locations on the map, but these are the first spots where they can be found, to give you an idea of what we can use at certain parts of the game. So to start our journey, we head over to Horseshoe Plains to catch our new starter, Mime Jr. After that, I spent a lot of time fighting Wurmple and resetting the spawns until we find a Pichu. We catch it and then start working on our task to get the first star so we can cross the bridge. This was still when I was trying to use only the baby Pokemon for the task and not just catching others to get research points, so it took a lot longer than it needed to. After spending an hour doing that, we go back to Silene to receive our first star and can progress in the story. Before we cross the bridge, we have to battle Ray and his Pikachu, but we miss Hypnosis and we lose. But it doesn't matter if you win this battle or not, so we just move on. Once across the bridge, we meet Mai, and have to battle her and her Munchlax. I sat here repeatedly throwing my baby Pokemon at her Munchlax until we got lucky with Paralysis and won on our third try. We run up the hill to battle the Alpha Kricketune, and it one-shots both of my Pokemon with attack. Sick. But we get lucky with Paralysis again and are able to take it down. It hasn't really been an issue yet, but one of the things that makes battling different in this game is the way a Pokemon's moves are calculated. The faster Pokemon will almost always go first, which is normal for a Pokemon game, but with the introduction of Agile and Strong style moves, some Pokemon can move 2, sometimes 3 times before you even get the chance to do anything, which can make some fights super unfair. Moving on from that little tangent, after beating Kricketune, we return to the village and meet the heads of the Diamond and Pearl clans, Adamant and Irida. We get assigned to go investigate Kleavor and head back out. On our way to Kleavor, we make a stop right here to look for our next Pokemon, Munchlax. Munchlax has the highest stat total out of any of the Pokemon we can use in this run and will be a staple of our team, but we just have to find one first. Thankfully, we found one on our third try, and after feeding it 20 berries, Munchlax is a part of the team. After this, we head to Oreburrow Tunnel to look for a Happiny, and after clearing out Machop and resetting for 20 minutes, we found one. Now that we've added some new team members, it's time to go meet Leon, and after battling him, we get sent back to the village to think of a way to calm down Kleavor. After waiting for Big Brain Laventon to think of a way to stop Kleavor, we head back out to see if we can quell it. We battle Irida, for some reason, make the bombs, and then fight Kleavor. I decided during this that I'm actually not going to use Pokemon against the boss battles. It felt like they'd only get in the way, but I also just wanted to assert my dominance. After defeating Kleavor, we head back out to the village. village, talk to totally not suspicious man, and report to Kamado. The next day, Arizu shows up and we get assigned to investigate Ursaluna and the Crimson Meyerlands, but we need to do more tasks and earn our second star first. Since I was still in the mindset that I had to do all of the tasks with just the baby Pokemon, it took me a little while to earn enough research points, but eventually we did, and we can finally head to the Crimson Meyerlands. Once we arrive, we immediately catch our next Pokemon, Bidoo, and then go and meet Warden Kalaba, who tells us to fuck off. Then Vola shows up and we have to battle him again. After beating him, he tells us that someone stole a wall fragment and we need to get it back. So we head to this campfire and meet the worst characters in the game, the Misfortune Sisters. So we beat Bandit Coin, God, such a stupid name, and get the wall fragment back. We take the wall fragment back to Kalaba. She tells us not to fuck off this time, and tells us to meet her at Sludge Mountain to find Ursaluna. After I tried to use Thunder Wave against a ground type, we lost the first battle, but won the second time around when we finally hit a Hypnosis. After beating Ursaluna, we go back to the village and find out that Arizu is missing, and we have to return to the Meyerlands to find her with the help of Ursaluna. But before we do that, there's a Pokemon we've got to look for. Bonsley can spawn over at Cloudpool Ridge, and can also jump out of ore deposits. I spent 25 minutes looking for one to spawn, and when it finally did, that happened. So after 30 more minutes, another finally spawned, and I did catch this one. With that out of the way, we hunt down Arizu, then head north to quell the Lady of the Ridge, Lilligant. After dealing with her, we report back to HQ and get assigned a new mission at the Cobalt Coastlands. You know what that means? Time for some more tasks. This is the point where I realized that I wouldn't be able to move on in the challenge unless I caught other Pokemon, which made doing all of the tasking much more manageable. This is also a good time to point out that the Crimson Meyerlands is the first location where Togepi can spawn, but since I can't cross the water, I'm unable to catch it at the moment. After a little over an hour of catching random Pokemon, we can finally head to the Cobalt Coastlands. Here's a little team update before we head out, since we're going to be replacing a few Pokemon with some new ones we're about to catch. Once we show up, we have to battle Irida again, and I realize our team is a little underleveled, but whatever. After that, we go to the cliff and meet Paulina, who tells us to go meet Iscan, who then tells us we have to go catch a Dusclops. This encounter is required, but since we don't actually have to use it in battle, it's not a big deal. Once we catch the big scary ghost Pokemon, we head back to Iscan, but not without catching a Togepi first. The first one ran away, but thankfully there were two there. I didn't even know that Togepi spawned here, but I'll take it. Also, spoiler alert, we never use this. So after making Basculegion's favorite food, we head down to the water to meet it, which is then followed by the dumbass bandit showing up and stealing one of the Growlithes. As soon as we can start surfing with Basculegion, I go and catch a Mantike, which gives our team some much needed coverage. We show up at Fire Spit Island and have to fight the sisters to get the Growlithe back, and we lose. Twice. But we beat them again on the third try. I don't know what it is with our third try is always working out, but I'm not going to complain about it. Then, with the power of bravery or whatever the fuck, Growlithe evolves into Arcanine, gets struck by lightning from God, and then we get the fuck out of there. Once we make some bombs for Arcanine, it's time to face the big pooch himself. And we lose the first attempt, but it's clearly my fault for getting stuck in a corner. Our second try goes much better, and we calm down the pupper. We then return to the village, report to Kamado, and eat some potato mochi. The next day we learn that another lord is in a frenzy. Shocker, I know. And get assigned to go to the Coronet Highlands. But Electro's warden, Melly, doesn't think we're good enough, so we have to battle Adamant, which ends up proving nothing and is just another excuse to battle. Guess what we have to do now? That's right, more tasks. So we head back out to Cobalt Coastlands and start catching Pokemon. While I'm doing this, I'm also only looking for our next team member, Magby, which spawns over at Fire Spit Island. And after about 20 minutes, we find one, which then runs away. I take out my anger on a Magmar with a strong style water pulse, and then we move on. I end up not finding another one for the next 30 minutes and stop looking and just focus on catching other Pokemon to finish as many tasks as we can. After another 20 minutes of doing tasks, I go to check to see if any Magby has spawned, and lo and behold, there is one. And we actually catch it this time. Magby is one of the best baby Pokemon we can use, so I'm pretty excited to add it to the team. 15 more minutes of task, and we can finally set out to the Coronet Highlands. We meet Ingo at the cave, follow him through, and then we head up the mountain, where we have to fight Melly. After destroying his Skuntank, we continue onwards. Bolo shows up at some point, says some dumb shit, and then leaves, and we go about our business. After venturing a little further, Ingo asks us for a battle, and we oblige. Once he's defeated, we're able to use Sneasler, who just kind of makes me uncomfy, but it allows us to climb the mountain and head to Electrode. Before we can do anything though, we have to fight Melly, again, whose Skuntank has now gone up to level 44 in the last 10 minutes. We beat him again, Adam shows up and yells at him, and then they help us make the bombs we need for the upcoming fight. Electrode's fight is usually the most difficult one for me because I have a small brain, but I was able to beat it on the first try. After quelling Electrode and button mashing through more dialogue, we head north and catch an Elekid, who gets added to the team right away. Next is the same thing as before. We report back to HQ, find out another Pokemon is in a frenzy, get assigned a mission, and then get told we need another star before going. So we gotta do more tasks. But at least this is the last time we'll have to do them, right? Foreshadowing. During the next 2 hours while we're doing tasks, we also do the side quest to upgrade the shop so we can buy better Pokeballs, just so we can catch Pokemon easier. But we finally finish our task and we can go to the Alabaster Icelands at last. Not before we battle Ray though, and then we go and find Garrick, defeat him on our first try, and then we have to chase Sabby around the map, which is just so enjoyable. Once we get to the point where we can enter the temple, we take a break to go find our final Pokemon, Riolu. We find one and add it to our team immediately. Before we go to the temple though, I run back to the village to upgrade our team's moveset so we're better equipped for the upcoming battles. But once that's done, we head to the temple, figure out the Reggie puzzles, and meet Sabby at the top. Before we can do anything, we have to battle Sabby, and boy is it annoying. In our first battle, Magby goes first and uses poison gas, which was a dumb move to use in retrospect. Sure, I'll take the blame for that. But after Magby gets knocked out, we don't get to move again until our last Pokemon is sent out. Like, I get that my team is pretty slow, they're literal babies, but this is fucking ridiculous. I hate the battle system in this game. So after getting obliterated for 3 consecutive battles, we get the fuck out of there and go back to the village with a plan. When you release Pokemon or defeat Alpha Pokemon, you can earn various grit items, which allow you to raise your Pokemon's effort levels. Since we've caught and released so many Pokemon to increase our star rank, we have a pretty decent surplus of grit items in our storage. So after spending a few minutes doing that, we go back to Sabby and beat her on the first try. This battle really pissed me off, so I was really happy after this. We go to the top of the temple, battle Braviary, and earn its respect or whatever so we can finally fly around the map. We then fly over and it's time to fight Avalugg, and we beat him on the first try, which was kind of surprising to me because it took me a few tries in my first playthrough of the game. Nevertheless, we quell Avalugg, head back to the village to report to Kamado, who totally doesn't foreshadow anything bad happening in the next 24 hours. Then we eat potato mochi and head to bed. But then, Bakum happens. The sky is all apocalyptic now and it's our fault apparently, so we get kicked out of the village. Now normally this would be a bad thing, but since we've made so many friends along our journey, I'm sure we'll be okay. Never mind, none of them want to help us. That's cool. Thankfully, the creepy guy that has followed us around the whole game is willing to help us, and well, we don't really have another option. He takes us to meet Goth Mommy, I mean Kagita, but really, she's such a random character introduced this far in the game, but oh well, she's gonna help us. Soon after meeting Kagita, Irida and Adamant show up and say they're gonna help us. We pick Irida to come with us while we go visit the 3 lakes and leave to learn more about the Red Chain. Once we update our iPhone and complete the challenges given to us by Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf, which are really more tedious and challenging, we're able to create the Red Chain, and it's time to head to Mount Coronet to stop Kamado, who's literally ready to throw hands with God. Before we can stop Kamado though, we have to get through the Mochi Man himself, Benny, who just kinda wrecks us on our first attempt. I realize we're a little underleveled for the upcoming fights, so we leave to train. After about an hour of battling Alpha Pokemon to get some EXP candies, we return to Mount Coronet, and with some luck, we're able to defeat Benny and continue up the mountain, where we find Kamado, ready to throw down. We actually beat him on the first try, which was a nice surprise, and after he begs us to save Hisui, it's time to face one of the big boys. Palkia appears, ready to fuck some shit up, but with the help of the Red Chain, we're able to catch the God of Space in our little Pokeball. But we don't have much time to celebrate because Dialga shows up and is pissed. So we book it down the mountain and we decide to find some origin ore to basically create a Master Ball. But it wouldn't be Legends Arceus if one of our simple tasks wasn't interrupted by something incredibly annoying. Oh hi, Misfortune Sisters. And just like Adamant, I don't care about them. After beating them, Adamant says another thing that I've been thinking the whole time, and we finally get the ore and head back to the town to make it. With the origin ball in hand, we head back to Mount Coronet for the last time. Not really. We are required to bring Palkia with us, but it doesn't matter because we don't battle anything. We pull up with the gang to find Dialga just chilling there, waiting for us. And once it transforms into, well, that, it's time to fight. After dying once at the very end of its health bar, we're able to defeat Dialga, catch it, and save the day. Then the credits roll, and we've done it. We've beaten Pokémon Legends Arceus with only baby Pokemon. Well, not really. There's still a lot we have to do. After getting turned at the victory party, we wake up the next morning with a text from God. That party must have been pretty fucking crazy. We talk to Silene and the others, and who else would show up unexpectedly than Volo? So we're told to follow him, and after defeating an Alpha Vespiquen and getting the stone plate, we then go back to see Kagita. She tells us that we need to collect the rest of the plates and gives us some quests to do. I decided to do the one at Prelude Beach first, stopping to take a look at our pet gods. Gosh, they're just so cute. We show up to Prelude Beach and it's time to battle Kamado again, but this time it's different because we get destroyed on our first try. So I decide to train and go and catch the legendaries before battling him again. So we go and catch Heatran, Mesprit, Azelf, Uxie, Cresselia, and Regigigas. Then it's time to go back and beat Kamado. We lost again. Yes, it's time to train some more. After training some more and just throwing our Pokemon at him, we eventually beat him on our 5th try. Now we have all the plates. It's time for our final task. Collect wood for the Goth Girl. After we present our wood, it's time to go back to the Temple of Sinnoh. Once we show up, Bolo shows us that he's actually a bad guy. Oh no. And it's time to battle. And we get absolutely destroyed. I kind of figured that with our current level level cap, this fight will be almost impossible, so we have to do more tasks to get another star and increase our level cap. After a little over an hour of doing tasks, we earn our 6th star, and our level cap is increased to 75. So after training against Alpha Blissey and Chansey, we get everyone over level 70 and challenge Volo again. But we lose. I decide that it's time for a team change and switch out our Bonsley, who's really too slow to do anything against his team, in exchange for Mime Jr., who can use fairy moves. After training Mime Jr. to be a high enough level to stand a chance, it's time to hunker down and see if we can beat Volo. After 3 more attempts, I'm able to beat Volo pretty steadily, but we can't beat Giratina yet. I don't know if you've noticed, but we never really use healing items in our battles, not for any particular reason. I just don't normally feel like it. But I decided to try them on this attempt, and, well, we won. After 29 hours, we have beaten Pokémon Legends Arceus with only baby Pokemon. I've never really done a challenge like this before, but it was fun. It's nothing impressive though, so if you got any ideas for me to try, let me know. But thanks for joining me on my journey. It means a lot to a single mom like me. My name's Davy. Thanks for watching.